So, forgive me, subscribers, for I have sinned. It's been more than 6 months since my last update, and quite a bit has changed, as you can be probably noticing in this shot right here. I've completed many modules, done some repairs, picked up some new equipment. As you see, this beautiful Rapido RDC going around. Those of you with some knowledge of Alberta railroad history will know that RDCs disappeared from Alberta somewhere in the 1950s. So this is pure fantasy. Since ostensibly I'm in the modern era, and yet here I am with an RDC in Alberta. So I'm imagining that sometime during the 60s, 70s, maybe into the 80s. There was actually commuter rail service in Alberta, which is probably a complete fantasy and has nothing to do with reality. But I like the RDC, and it reminds me of my youth, using them for traveling in southern Ontario. And since I'm kind of indulging my youth with this railway set, with this layout, it seemed to make sense to have the RDC. The RDC has certainly caught the attention of the rail fans here on the beach. They're probably very surprised to see an RDC going by, since they probably know that there hasn't been commuter rail service in Alberta for 60 or 70 years. So seeing a nice shiny new RDC go by has probably caught their attention. But these canoeists are pretty much oblivious to the RDC's passing, because they're looking the wrong way, going down the river and concentrating on what they're doing. So in the last update, this was just the land for this building, and here is the Walters fuel distributor set. I've weathered it fairly nicely. So I'm really very pleased with the outcome, with some figures in here working on the industry, and a guy managing in a yellow suit managing the fuel distribution here. So this allows me another place for oil tankers to come in, right here, it's a drop-off fuel at the back, as you can see, with another one of those scale model trains, oil tankers, here parked. This is a small change. Others may not have even noticed it, but it drove me crazy. This module had become quite badly warped. So the point was sticking way up in the air. It was always getting fouled on cars, and especially with big ones like this RDC or the well car. So here I've replaced it, put in another park with a welcome sign, Despoc, Alberta. The rail fans are back here keeping track of what's happening on the main line, and with the flowers and grass and trees and good stuff like that. But this is really the biggest change, which is the passenger module. If you're going to have an RDC, then you need to be able to pick up passengers. This is actually, I think, the wrong scale. The shelters, I think, are British O scale, or in an almost British scale. They're a little larger than what they should be. Maybe not as big as O. Maybe 175th or something instead of 187th. But they work nicely. Mostly woodland. Yeah, in fact, they are Woodland Scenics figures in there. There's some posters, Visa posters on the wall. Vancouver and the Montreal Jazz Festival. The benches are mostly a little kit that I picked up in a hobby store in Canada. I'll try and dig out the name of it. They're wooden laser cut kits. They go together fairly easily. Here's the park benches that I'm using. It's something called Osborne Model Kits, number RRA01022. I found them in a hobby shop in Kingston. They also make picnic benches and signs and pallets, a bunch of things. So I've got a bunch of these kits. They're not the easiest to put together, but they work. And particularly if they're filled with people, then you really don't notice some of their flaws in the assembly anyway. These folks are running for the train. Hopefully they'll get there on time. This wooden block here is just marking the space where the Civic building's going to go. Here's a piece I'm really proud of. This is a passenger train station. It's based on the Blair Line kit Leeton Depot, and I looked to me like it copied pretty well a number of Victorian style or late 1800s style depots or train stations that existed in southern Alberta. It's thanks very much to Ron's Trains and Things. Ron did a video of this a few months ago, building it in N scale, but still it gave me a bunch of ideas about what to do and what not to do, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. The customization includes obviously the sign, which isn't part of the kit, and this textured fascia or something, wainscoting. It's textured brick. I bought it in Europe. Can't remember what it's called. I can probably find that later. And I put in an electrical box. So this is the product. It's called Redutex, and it's textured brick. Try and zoom in here. It's kind of rubberized, but cuts very easily and works very well. This is a product I bought in Spain on one of my trips. And I detailed the interior, which I have never done before. This is just a storage area, so it's kind of rough. But this is the waiting room, and there's a couple of benches full of passengers waiting there. Another pair of people in line for tickets. Nice poster on the wall. This is the office, which is again pretty Spartan, and maybe more stuff will go in later. But the idea is that eventually I want to put some lighting on the layout, and this will be one of the lit buildings. I've got some people. Let's see if we can hopefully see it. There's a person looking out there, and another one, like a station master, looking out through the bay window. And I think that when lit, things are going to look pretty interesting. I've already bought some lighting, some street lighting to go on this platform. So if this building gets lit, then it'll be a really nice effect. So this is the parking lot for the station with the sign out front, and some commuters rushing off to work, including this couple saying goodbye. This is Woodland Scenics figures. At this end, I decided to extend the entertainment section that I had and sort of extend it out this way. This is not yet complete. There's going to be another one of these kiosks, food kiosks here, like Vulcan Pizza, which I've moved over here. These bases are obviously going to get painted, so they look better. This is Wally's Wiener Wagon, and for a number of reasons I couldn't resist. It's again a Woodland Scenics kit, or not kit, but Woodland Scenics figures, including this kid running after a hot dog and maybe his mother complaining, and I really like it. It's a nice little scene. And then I some more rail fans. I love stocking rail fans around the layout and avoiding the train going by. And then this forest, it's maybe temporary, it may be what's actually going to be there. It's actually based on some flowers that I dried. My wife bought for the house, and we dried them, and I sprayed them with hairspray, and this is how they turned out. It's probably a little better than teddy bear fur, but it's still lacking. It's about the wildness that I wanted, but it's perhaps too wild and lacking a bit of structure. I also picked up some rolling stock. I was not very happy with I had a few boxcars, but not as many as I wanted. I only really had the one that came with the Walters original train set that I bought 2 years ago, and also a couple that I picked up in the remainder bins, and I've been struggling with ever since trying to get the trucks replaced and the couplers replaced. So these are scale trains, Evans double plug door box cars in the Kit Classics format. Let me just get the box. So here's the box, and it shows you this is the Florida East Coast one, although the color on the end doesn't match the color on the box. And and as it says, it's easy to assemble, and they are in fact easy to assemble, as a video by Sparky 107 showed, I think, maybe a few months ago, maybe a year ago. They are so simple that they're practically trivial. You wonder why they bothered to make them as a kit. All you really have to do is plop the shell on the base and screw in the trucks and the couplers, and that's the kit in quotation marks. There's no extra detail to add on. There's all of the detail is molded on, including the brake wheel. So it's a pretty trivial assembly job. What I did was obviously the kits came with scale trains couplers, which I've had nothing but bad luck with. So I didn't even bother to include them, put them on. I just immediately put in some Katie's 148s, and in fact the scale trains couplers didn't come with trip pins, so I use a magnetic decoupler, and so it would. I'm very happy to have the Katie's. The other thing I did was I put on this safety striping. I'm eventually trying to put all of safety stripes on all of the rolling stock I've got. Right now it's only on a few, but the plan is to put it on at all. So I figured, why not do it right while I had them in the cradle being assembled. So I'm pretty pleased with these. With the limitations, they weren't that expensive, and not that hard to put together, and they look pretty nice. Well, it's been 6 months. There was a few months I didn't get much done for some personal reasons, but I'm really quite pleased with how things are coming together. There's really only one module spot left to fill, and that's with the cemetery or park that's going to go at the back. And then there's a couple of buildings to go in, and then we'll have to think about what comes next. Certainly a lot of operations and switching puzzles. It was designed originally to be a switching puzzle layout, and that's certainly what I'm going to turn to next. But for now, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out, and hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe as always, and given the holiday period, which I hope I get this up at least between Christmas and New Year's, then and I hope you've had a happy and safe holiday, and look forward to trying to get these things up with more frequency. Thanks. Bye-bye.